What's up, everybody? We got Champions League match day 1 in the books. We're moving on to Group E, which is Chelsea, Dinamo Zagreb, Milan, Salzburg, and Chelsea in last place. What the heck happened? How the hell? By the way, this loss was so bad. Thomas Tuchel got the sack the next day. Crazy.
I don't get it, man. I really don't. Unfortunately, this is honestly a game that if I could go back and watch, I would. Unfortunately, it was 12:45 game slot for me at my time Eastern, so I was at work, so I couldn't really watch it. But I was shocked when I saw that they lost to Dinamo Zagreb. You just dropped 80 mil plus on Fofana,
Dude, Fofana got burned
who
on the goal.
started, and yeah, I just saw the goal, and it looked bad.
He got
And
burned for like 40, 50 yards,
and Chelsea, I'm not gonna say they've had like a tough start to the season. They've had a relatively decent one, but to fall to a team like Dinamo Zagreb, and maybe we're not giving Zagreb the credit that they're due. But at the same time, if you're Chelsea, you have to go into this game and get those 3 points.
No, definitely. These 3 points is like inexcusable for Chelsea. The only thing is that they were playing away from home. That is like the one saving thing.
I don't know if that's even a
But
saving grace,
even
dude.
even further than the result, it was the performance. It was like I don't see what Chelsea's identity, like what is their play style? I can't really tell. Because for me, I think Tuchel is kind of on was playing a little bit on borrowed time because of the Champions League win that he had. I don't think Chelsea has been that great for
I agree.
even towards the end of last season. They weren't
I
that
agree.
great. And a lot of the
Because
performances
they lost. They're not playing Captain America enough, man. They gotta get that guy in there.
Yeah, it's because of
What,
Pulisic. Yeah,
what are you doing, man? Just play Pulisic, and it'll all go right for you again.
No, but being serious, like that season that they won the Champions League, the big heroes that year were like Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, dudes like that.
Pulisic was a big part of that as well. Even on a serious note.
No, he was. But I'm talking about the players that are like regularly playing right now.
Sure.
When have they ever gotten close to that level again? I haven't seen it. For me, like the only really truly like generational talents that Chelsea have on their team is Reece James and Kovacic and N'Golo Kante, but N'Golo Kante is always injured. So I mean, I'm struggling to see.
I'd put Mount in there. He's old. I mean, he's
Mount is just work rate, dude. He's not like
young.
He's not world class, man. He's not.
I didn't say world class, but I think he's a pretty good player.
He's he's a decent player, but he's nothing to write home about. But getting back to the crux of the issue here, I don't know what is Chelsea soccer. What does that even mean? And to me, it doesn't. I think the only thing that
I hear you.
The only thing that you can be for sure of really is that he was going to start with a back three, play with a back three, and rely on the fullbacks. That seems to me the only consistent elements of Chelsea's game. Other than that, there's no like attacking patterns that they use consistently to break out defenses, and then their players really haven't been that clinical. That's why you have to go out and get a guy like Aubameyang. I'm sure he will help them in the goal scoring department. But yeah, this is a disaster for Chelsea.
And unfortunate for Aubameyang as well. One of the reasons he chose Chelsea is to reunite with Tuchel, who he was with at Dortmund, and very short-lived reunion there.
It would be interesting to see.
And Aubameyang didn't have a game to write home about. He didn't play well. Like, he didn't have a great game. He was the first sub of the game to come off. Him and Kovacic, but still, if you're being brought there to be the new number 9, and then you're the first sub off, it's not a great start.
Do you know who they're talking about as the favorite to replace Tuchel? It's Graham Potter, the coach for Brighton. And Brighton.
He should stay at Brighton for this season, I think.
I kind of agree. Like Brighton is having
should
an
stay.
amazing start to the season. They already
He
have.
should
They're undefeated. No, they're 4
No,
wins,
no,
1
no.
tie, 1 loss.
No. Arsenal was the last undefeated team, and then
No, yeah, you're right.
United gave it to him.
But 4 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss. And I don't know. I feel like Chelsea is just like by tradition. You know, you get a manager, first year amazing.
I was also about to say that. Yeah,
first year is amazing, and then it slowly deteriorates until it becomes like toxic, and then you got to start the cycle over again.
I was also going to say, I mean, I kind of agree with what you were saying about, you know, Chelsea not really having an identity, but, you know, I think the players respected Tuchel as a manager, and they're willing to, you know, get behind him and whatever he's telling them to do. I think that I don't know if firing him was the best move for Chelsea. Obviously, you know, at some point you have to not even at some point, but, you know, fans want something, a material change from Chelsea after a loss like this. And there's not much you can do. But, you know, even with a new owner, it seems like Chelsea's kind of still up to their antics, because they did this all the time with Abramovich. And now they're doing it with this new guy where, you know, not a few rough weeks and you're out the door.
Yeah, but look, this is what I'm saying though, is like it's been a long time that Chelsea hasn't performed well. Really, when I think about,
I mean, they're making Champions League in the Premier League. That's nothing to shake a stick at.
They have been so far, but I mean, you got like Arsenal is a new contender this year. I mean, obviously Brighton Hove is not going to be up there. Man U is looking like they're getting hot again. So and like those teams, maybe now, like with Man U, maybe a little bit now more that we're a few weeks in. Like Arsenal has a clear identity, you know.
Yeah.
You know Arsenal, what they're trying to do. Man City, same thing. Liverpool used to be like that. You know, these are like the Tottenham, like they're not the best team, but you know what they're doing. You know what the plan is.
Yeah, and who they're relying on.
Yeah, I struggle to see what exactly Chelsea's plan is, and it's crazy because, you know, they have a game at the weekend, and as far as I know right now, they haven't signed a new manager yet. It's kind of crazy. But to the game a little bit, Chelsea had, you know, majority share of possession, but even with all that possession, I think Dinamo Zagreb, again, kind of going back to the identity, had a clear game plan. You know, they know we're going to sit in, we're going to absorb pressure, and we're going to hit them on the break. And they did exactly that. And the goal came so early, though. You would think Chelsea can definitely get back into this game. It's not like a smash and grab in the 90th minute and they get the 1-0, you know. They scored in the 12th minute. And Chelsea had over 80 minutes to at least tie the game. And they couldn't do that. It's kind of crazy, dude. It's really crazy.
Yeah, and again, I wish I could have you know, actually watched this game, you know, in its entirety, kind of, especially after seeing the result. But yeah, from the highlights that I saw, and you know, we've both watched Chelsea for a long time, just in general. Yeah, you know, definitely a shock. And you know, what do you think? What do you think is the next move for Chelsea? And with the players that they have, were they to establish an identity, what do you think that should be?
I think Chelsea, I think they're getting stale with the 3 back and the full back formation. Maybe a 4-3-3 or something, but I don't know, like because Tuchel brought in a few players, you know, like Koulibaly and Fofana. I think he brought them in with the back 3 in mind, you know. So whoever comes in, if they're going to change the system, they're going to have to do it like with the players that Tuchel brought in, Cucurella also. So like he spent, you know, so much money on these defenders. I think the team is very imbalanced. I think his whole idea was, we're just going to set up and be difficult to break down, and we're going to take our chance whenever it comes, because you know you're going to generate chances in a game with quality players like that. What should they do next? You know, I have no idea. They need to get Jorginho out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Jorginho, he never even, like, that 1 year that Italy won the Euros and all, he wasn't even the best player on Italy that year, in my opinion. I don't know. I think Jorginho got to go. Kepa started. Like freaking Kepa started. I can't even believe that. Um, dude, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Chelsea is a freaking mess.
Excuse me. Sorry. No, yeah, I agree. And interesting that you mentioned, all the money they spent on defense, and yet they're still starting Aspilicueta in a back three, no less,
Yeah,
which is really surprising. If honestly, I would have thought that if you were going to, go with a back three, that you would even slot Cucurella in there, instead of someone like Aspilicueta, because Cucurella, he's not a stranger to being in the center of the field. He used to be a center mid, who kind of converted to left back, at at Brighton. Well, he played in the middle at Brighton as well, but he was used on defense as well. So I'm surprised that he wasn't one of the players, that started in that back three over, Aspilicueta, because you know he he's a good player, and you spent money on him, so why not try to use him? And then you have other center backs. I'm not saying that he's a blockbuster name that maybe you should be starting, but even Chaluba is a center back. Aspilicueta is a right back who is kind of just been there for a long time, and I think he's there, a lot of for like seniority, leadership type qualities. But if you're looking to truly go out there and put out your best team, I don't know if Aspilicueta should be on the starting 11 anymore. I think that, and like you said, you spent so much money, so why not use the players that you spent money on?
Barca was trying to sign Aspilicueta for a hot minute this summer too.
Hey man, we got Bellerin, the GOAT, so it don't matter.
But yeah, definitely unexpected start for Chelsea. On the other side of the group, we had Milan and Salzburg play to a 1-1 tie, which was also kind of unexpected. Most people had Milan as
you
the
know,
favorite.
this might be a more even group that we gave it than we, said at the beginning.
I Chelsea Milan should run away with this. They should run away
We
with it.
said that, but then here we are talking about what is Chelsea going to do and what's the next steps.
There's still 15 points.
Yeah, you've
to
been
play
saying that for the last year since the Champions League and since the Champions League win that they haven't been the same team. So obviously it's a trend that you've been seeing. And you said they have a year that they kill it and they slowly go down and they have to restart. So it's clearly a trend.
But
So
just because they've declined, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't
but
handle
also
this group.
you also have to consider that there's a lot of teams that come into the Champions League and surprise that we don't know.
Oh yeah, these teams are. This is like the highlight of their life. They're
Yeah,
coming in. They're
and
trying
these
to
are
show out.
and these are teams that we don't really watch because we don't get the games here, and there are other games on that we'd rather watch at the same time. So like Salzburg, they're always a name that I hear, but I never really know much about them. They tied with Milan, who isn't a weak team. They're in third right now in Italy,
They're the reigning champions for Serie A.
and they're the reigning champions. So getting a tie off the Italian champions, that's not a bad result. And then, Chelsea, as we've said, they're not the same as they were when they won that Champions League. On paper, it seems like they would have a better squad, but here we are.
The third and fourth match, it's Chelsea Milan back to back. So
That would be interesting.
That puts more on the importance on the second game. Chelsea and Milan both need to get 3 points because then they're going to face each other twice in a row. And after that, there's only 2 games left to go. And then the group stage is done. So fascinating group right there. Kind of both of the big hitters in that group underperforming, and they're playing back to back in the third and fourth match. This one became a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is I think that it's a much more even group than we would have thought at the beginning of the tournament.
That's true.
I would say that they're kind of like we just talked about group D and how they're very even, but and I wouldn't say that group E is as even, but it looks like they're more even than we thought.